Vote for me and I'll set you free.
It's just another word for nothing left to lose. Over me.
All right, folks, you certainly know what that theme song means by now. That's right. It's time for another episode of America Matters. I'm your host today, Leo Zaki, and joining me today, as always, is Eddie Floyd and Chandler Lawson. We're also joined by Victor Avila and Ken Nuss. We love having both of you guys on, so we're really glad that you're joining us today. And before we jump into it, I want to give a big shout out, hello, and welcome to everybody tuning in on all the different platforms, especially the folks listening on 93.7 KPGF, as well as the SAM Network, the Answer Network, Kevin Jackson Network, Radio for America. If you want to get involved in today's show, you can always text in at 775-384-4444, or you can go to Facebook like Jim Goddard already has and comment there. Easiest way to get there is by going to americamatters.us, clicking the link. It'll take you right to the page. So with that, Eddie, we got to start setting cast with us again today. I love it. This is great. So what's going on? And Victor, welcome to the show, as always.
Thank you. Great to be with you. A lot of stuff going on. As you can imagine, I've been doing a lot of media because there seems to be I want to say confusion, but a lot of different rumors running around about what's going to happen and what's happening with deportations, who's going to be deported, what is ICE doing, what is the federal government doing, and we just need to set the record straight and the narrative straight so people understand. I think they're getting a little bit of, obviously, the shock and awe of how quickly it's moved in the last week. But it's kind of, I got some very interesting phone calls earlier today that people, and I'm talking about undocumented people, are realizing what the American people voted for. And they voted for law and order, and they voted to have our border secure. And a lot of these people were for it. Yeah. We love Trump. Well, guess what that meant? I don't know if they thought that it wasn't going to happen or that it was a ploy to get elected. No, they were telling you the truth. They were telling you that they're going to fix the economy. They're going to secure the border. They're going to clean up crime. And that's exactly what they're doing. So now I think they're getting a taste of the medicine that they thought they wanted, and now they're being a little concerned. And I've gotten some very weird calls about concerns about, people, the police going in or ICE going into schools and raiding schools and going after kids. And I tell them, listen, if there is a 15-year-old gang member in your school, yes, we are going to go get them. And yes, we're going to arrest them at the school, at the church, at the courthouse, at the hospital, and every place where the previous administration said that you couldn't do it because those restrictions no longer exist. And if there happens to be another illegal alien next to the target that we have a packet on them. And if you're next to that person, because the police doesn't have tunnel vision, they go in there and they're going to scan the whole area, whether it's a business, whether it's a school, whether it's a home, or wherever they encounter these individuals. They're going to conduct what they call alienage of everybody. If you're a U.S. citizen and if you're in this country illegally, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. If you're illegal, you are going to get picked up. That is the big difference. Alejandro Mayorkas, the prior Secretary of Homeland Security, had said that if you're here just illegally, that they weren't going to do anything about it. That has changed, that you will get picked up. And that's where the concern is saying, well, they're going after these people. No. That's a big difference. It's that you're next to the target that we're going after. That's why Tom Homan has been asking New York to give us access to Rikers Island, Colorado to give us access to the county jails. Everyone needs to give ICE access to the jails because that's where the criminal illegal aliens are at. And guess what? It's confined, it's secure, and you need only a very small number of personnel to grab those individuals and process them out. If you let them out into the community, we are going to go into the schools, we are going to go into the courthouses, and we're going to go anywhere that illegal goes so we can take them into custody.
Absolutely. And it's very convenient because you're going to get the worst of the worst out of the system and free up space in the jails for other criminals.
That's actually it actually comes down to a money thing, believe it or not. These county jails make a lot of money off of the federal government. So I foresee a showdown between President Trump, just like he had one with Colombia the other day. Well, I foresee that there's going to be a showdown between one of these sanctuary cities, either a mayor or a governor of a state that's not going to cooperate, and President Trump is going to let them know who he is again, like he had to remind Colombia who he was and what we're going to do. And they're going to be financial sanctions to those jurisdictions, these local jurisdictions, and he's going to cut them off. And this is what we're going to have to get to. All you have to do is say, we agree with the bad guys. We don't want the bad guys here. I think we all could agree, and that's why President Trump got the vote of the Hispanic and the Black community, because they don't want the criminal illegal aliens in their neighborhood. So cooperate with President Trump and you'll avoid a lot of his other issues.
Absolutely. And we're seeing folks already packing up their stuff and leaving America. Illegals are already doing that because instead of waiting around to get deported and have nothing and lose all the stuff that you've accumulated, they're already packing everything they own up and heading back south.
Hey, Leo.
Yeah.
Real quick. I was supposed to have the Mississippi DA on, DA Barton. He's not able to make it today. But why I reached out to him was interesting. I don't know if anyone saw the clip on Newsmax. He is trying to create I guess with legislators out there, a bill that would allow them to classify or train or certify, I don't want to use the word bounty hunters, but people to assist. And he, as the DA, was willing to pay $1,000 per person. Now,
I heard about this.
You heard about it. So he may be able to come on our show tomorrow. They were just tied up today, and I didn't get to tell Victor that he's not able to join us. And Victor will have a call with him when you free up. But it's interesting that even in their jail, they have 12 people, 12 illegals waiting to get picked up and be deported. So there are DAs around America that have the you know what to do what President Trump wants to do. And I do feel that they're overtaxed. I mean, Tom's doing an amazing job with what he has to work with. And I heard him this morning. He said exactly what you said, Victor. You know, if people are, if these illegals are in school or if they're in church, yes, we're going to make that area safe.
I have that clip actually with him talking to Dr. Phil. So I'm going to play that when we get back from our first break here on America Matters. So we're just going to jump into that break real quick, Ken. Sorry to cut you off, but this is America Matters. I'm Leo Zaki. Joining us today is Ken Ness and Victor Avila. We'll be right back.
At A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, we've been accomplishing happy feet for over 30 years.
We offer a various range of shoe styles and sizes for both men and women. From all-season shoes and orthotics to work boots and safety shoes, our professional and reliable staff possesses the knowledge to help you find the proper shoes to fit your needs. Hard to fit? Hard to find?
A Proper Fit Footwear is here to give our customers happy feet. We make people aware of potential foot problems as we're sizing their feet, suggesting the right arch support, and guiding them to the proper shoes for their needs.
Stop by A Proper Fit Footwear at 4001 South Virginia Street in the Reno Town Mall today, and allow the owner, Mike Jones, and our fabulous staff to find the perfect pair of shoes tailored to your specific needs.
A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, the home of happy feet, where comfort and your feet meet.
Barbecue, the Butcher's Kitchen, would like to thank every customer for your loyalty and continued support through these challenging times. Call for takeout and delivery of rib tips, brisket, ahi, tuna, roasted veggies, and much more. Barbecue's open from 11 to 7, Monday through Saturday, and delivers hot food safe and healthy. Call 499-5855 for details. 499-5855. Barbecue, as featured on diners, drive-ins, and dives. Get real. Get into Barbecue Reno.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed. Support causes that matter. Change lives. Change communities. Change the world. Visit lionsclubs.org to learn more.
Want to expand your advertising dollar? Sponsor this or any America Matters program by calling 775-827-8900, extension 2. Now back to the show.
All right, folks, we're back with America Matters. I'm Leo Zaki with Shannon Lawson and Eddie Floyd. And joining us today is Victor Avila and Ken Nuss. And Ken, before we went to that break, I mentioned Tom Homan in this clip, and I wanted to share that with everybody, talking about what's actually going on. And he's talking with Dr. Phil. So take a listen.
So forget the false narrative of sweeping neighborhoods looking for people different color than us. Forget that hogwash and look at what we actually did. We're proving it to them. How can you argue with the system we've set up?
Well, it's straight up. Are you going into schools and arresting children at schools?
No.
Is anything like that happening?
No, sir.
Are you going into businesses and sweeping through there and taking anybody with a tan and seeing where they're from?
We go into businesses for a criminal enforcement operation, but again, sweeps don't occur anywhere.
The sweeps are not occurring. You're just not going in like seining for fish in a pond and just picking up. You're going targeted. If a criminal is working in a business and you have to pick them up there, you're going in for that target.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's
the mainstream media. They're pulling the stop. I mean, I never watched the other side of the news, but lately, like the past few days, I've been putting on CBS, NBC, and it's pathetic how they still get away with it. And I gotta give hats off to our press secretary. I mean, for them, for her to be able to call these so-called journalists out. It's refreshing. Everything's been refreshing this past week,
Amen.
Oh yeah. But I mean, there it is, plain and simple. And I really love that Dr. Phil's actually getting involved in this to the level he is, helping clarify as a sort of a neutral third party in a way that's well respected amongst everybody.
Right.
So I really commend him for doing that. Because I've been seeing other clips too, where he's going out with the ICE agents and watching this all break down and just get total clarification, so there can be total transparency and no confusion as to how it's actually going down. But of course, the mainstream's going to lie, so it's completely biased and leftist controlled, and they're part of the Democrat machine. There's no doubt about it.
Hey, Victor, can you maybe give some clarification as to Kristi Noem's position and how she's fitting into this?
Yeah, Kristi Noem is the Secretary of Homeland Security. She is overseeing the entire department. And so think of this big umbrella of DHS, and under DHS, you have a bunch of, I want to tell you the number because there's a lot of numbers, over 24 agencies under the Department of Homeland Security. A lot of people obviously concentrate only on ICE and CBP, but you got FEMA, you got Secret Service, you got the U.S. Coast Guard, you got USCIS, and a bunch of others. So she is the main boss overseeing everyone. And of course, when it comes to ICE and what we're talking about in CBP and the border, she's going to work very closely with Tom Homan, and very lucky to have Tom Homan to be sharing with her directly exactly on the operations that are being conducted. So I saw her out there with them. That's
what confused me, because she had the ICE.
That's actually really cool. Let me tell you, that's the morale booster for the agents. And I don't think I'd ever seen Mallorca's out there at 2 a.m. doing raids or doing operational enforcement with his employees. So this is good. This is what leadership looks like. Yeah. She's saying, I'm down there. People, it's a photo op, whatever. I don't care. She's out there, and she's saying, I'm standing with you. And one of the things that, as a law enforcement officer, what you want is you want backup. You want to know that your supervisor has you. Your supervisor's got your back, and ultimately the big boss from Washington has your back, because what's happening here is that everyone now is on the same page. You've heard and you're seeing a lot of people get weeded out that are not on this page, that are not America First, that do not want to do this. Thank you for coming. You have a date on February, I understand, that you can leave and let us do the job of the American people of what they asked for. People are fed up with the crime, especially illegal alien crime. I can barely tolerate it. I don't want to see anyone be a victim of a crime anymore. And so when someone is victimized by someone from another country on the other side of the world in our town, I think those are 100% preventable crimes. So we're going to do that. You will see a difference. And people have been asking, how long is this going to take? It's going to take all 4 years. This is going to be, so get used to it, because this is going to be the reality for the next 4 years, every single day of the Trump administration. It's not going to end, because it's unfortunately, it's that how many people are in here. It's millions. Look at the prior presidents and how many they have deported under their presidency. Bill Clinton, 8 million. Bill Clinton, 8 million. Think about that for a second. So don't come. I didn't hear anybody crying back then, or I didn't hear anybody complaining when Obama. I think it was over 3 million under Obama. So calm down, everybody. All of a sudden, because it's Trump, all of a sudden, because it's a Republican doing it, what's the difference? The difference is that you're seeing it. And the difference is transparency, because that's what President Trump is bringing you. He's showing you. We've got the cameras, and we're going to show you the bad, really, really bad people that were allowed here in this country. If you want to be mad at anybody, be mad at Biden for allowing you and putting these illegal aliens to begin with. Of course, we got to be compassionate. These are real people. There's not everybody has committed criminal crimes after being here illegally. And I feel bad for them. We're real people. We're compassionate. We're humanitarian. And if that illegal alien wants to be upset at somebody, be upset at the Biden administration for opening that and lying to you and opening that border and bringing you under these false illegal pretenses and programs like the CBP One app and the parole program, all illegal, by the way. All those people have absolutely no status, no standing in this country. Blame him. Answer to them. Send the emails to the Democrat Party and the phone calls and ask them why they did this to you, why they made you leave your country in the first place. Now, the bigger picture is we're going to shift the burden back on those countries to take their people back and say, keep them there to begin with, because this is over. We're done with everything that's been going on for a long time.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's already been putting the pressure on countries like Colombia, which I think is it's a great thing. Just get them out. I mean, these people should not be here. They broke the law. I got to ask you, Victor. I mean, how many people do you think are in this country illegal? Because I've heard numbers as high as possibly even 50 million.
I think a good conservative guess here, educated guess, is somewhere between 28 and 35 million, I believe. Remember, just under the Biden administration, my professional estimate is about 15 million, 15 to 18, just in the last 4 years.
Wow.
So there was already at least 15 here. That puts you around that number. So there's illegal aliens that have been in this country for 20, 30 years. And there's some that have been here for 2 days. So there's a big difference in categories of illegal aliens. Not all of them are MS-13. Not all of them are Tren de Aragua from El Salvador. So you have to have that ability to distinguish, because you have to, whether you like it or not, no matter how you feel about immigration. But we have 350 possible thousand missing children that are illegal, and no fault of their own. They're possibly being exploited. We got to go find them as well. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind that just like the Biden administration allowed all these illegals to come in this humanitarian way, well, we're going to do it the same way. We're going to find you. We're going to identify you, find you, and process you humanitarianly with compassion, but you're going to be going the other direction.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, with those numbers that you said there, Victor, that would mean it could be 1 in 10 people in the United States is an illegal immigrant.
Wow.
That's right. And if you start thinking about logistically, Well, gosh, that would take a long time if you think about, because there's a lot to talk about here, and it gets a little complicated. But removal of an illegal alien is very, very complex. It's not like you're illegal, I get you, I hook you up, and then we're going to put you out. It doesn't work that way. Now, there's some categories like overstays from visa waiver countries. For example, you're from Spain and you came into the country and you're here now, overstayed that stay. We could pick you up and put you on the plane and send you back immediately. Others require a lot of other due processes and paperwork. Again, that's the law, whether you like it or not. Everybody says, well, they're illegal. Why are they getting these rights? That I didn't write them. That's been there in the books for a long time. There's a lot of different types of removals. There's expedited removals. There's voluntary returns. There's NTAs. There's all these things. Not everyone goes before an immigration judge. Some will, most won't. And so just right now, we have over 2, possibly 3 million that we could remove that have crimes, criminal histories, pending crimes, or have already been ordered deported. Plus the 2 million that came in the country as a getaway that we have no idea. Those are they terrorists? What are they? So right there, we have several million that will occupy ICE for the days to come. So are other people that are here illegally going to be encountered and taken? Yes, they are. And so, but the difference is who the government is targeting versus who they encounter.
Right. It's a triage is what it sounds like. I mean, you've got to go for the worst people first, obviously. I mean, you're talking about, numbers as high as potentially 35 million, as you mentioned. This is going to take time. So the most efficient manner to go about this is get rid of the worst first and work your way down to clearing them all out. So this is just what needs to take place. This is just the initial stages of how this is going to get done. And through the process of doing it like this, you're going to show people, especially with the transparency, is that this isn't a place to screw around. We're not playing games anymore. We're going to get the worst first. And you better believe if you're here illegally, you're going to get gone next. So either pack it and go on your own terms, or we're going to go get you, which I think it's a great thing that we're having this transparency. The problem is the mainstream is going to lie about it. And as you mentioned before, the 350,000 kids that are missing, where was the compassion for those kids?
Right.
What about that? They're saying, oh, we're going to deport children. Oh, this is so terrible. It's like there's missing children that are being literally sex trafficked and raped as they were brought into this country.
That's right. Where's the compassion for them? What about the compassion for the victims of crime? They always get lost in the shuffle in every conversation, and I'm a big advocate for them. What about the hundreds of thousands of deaths of fentanyl poisoning? What about that? Think about them. And the cartels continue to put their poison in this country. What about the illegal alien killing a U.S. citizen, raping a U.S. citizen? The Lake and Riley cases, there's a lot of those, let me tell you. I get a message almost every single day of an illegal alien committing a crime against a U.S. citizen. What about those victims? What about those family members? What do you say to them? Oh, the left wants to dismiss it and say, well, those are very small percentage. You say that to Lake and Riley's parents, small percentage. They became a victim of a crime at the hands of a monster that by the way, was allowed in through the southern border, so supposedly vetted, and then even got arrested a couple of times before he actually committed this crime.
Right.
So we have a lot of big problems with dealing with these people, and a lot of it obviously has to do at the state level.
Absolutely. Well, look, Victor, we're going to take our bottom of the hour break. When we get back, we're going to continue the conversation. I'm Leo Zach with Eddie Floyd, Chandler Lawson, Ken Nuss, and Victor Avila. We'll be right back.
At Northern Nevada Family Dental, we are proud to announce a wide range of advanced dental services by way of the Photona Lightwalker laser. The Lightwalker laser can efficiently and effectively treat most periodontal problems, from deep persistent pocketing to peri-implantitis and a multitude of conditions in between. Have cold sores? We can inhibit the cycle of the virus and sometimes even prevent them from occurring. Do you have a snoring or CPAP problem? Through the amazing healing power of light, we can treat tissues inside the mouth without anesthesia, appliances, or cutting, so that after just one treatment, most people sleep better and quieter that same night. By using the power of the laser intraorally, we can also smooth facial wrinkles and tighten sagging necklines, all without you having to be numb, and there's no downtime. It can even be done on a lunch break. Through the FDA-approved Power of Light, these treatments and many more are now available at Northern Nevada Family Dental in Sparks. Have I piqued your interest? Give us a call at 626-7772 or visit us at northernnevadafamilydental.com.
In times of market volatility, it can be a good reminder to revisit your financial strategies to make sure they align with your goals. Call 775-674-2222 or visit nvretirementplanners.com. Advisory services are offered through Nevada Retirement Planners, an investment advisor in the state of Nevada. Any insurance products and services are offered through Nevada Senior Advisors. Nevada Retirement Planners are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any government agency. Nevada Retirement Planners does not provide legal or tax advice.
I used to love going for long walks, but my back just doesn't cooperate like it used to.
Same here. But ever since I started a routine with Active Life Integrated Health on Moana Lane, I feel more flexible and in control. You should check them out.
This is Dr. Tom Waldorf. Let's make it happen so you can feel better naturally. To schedule the beginning of your transformation, call 775-842-0065 or visit activelifereno.com online.
Unable to listen to the whole show? A recording of today's program will be available later today. Visit americamatters.us and click on the podcast link. Now back to the show.
All right, folks, we're back with America Matters. I'm Leo Zachy with Eddie Floyd, Shannon Lawson, and Ken Nuss. And I don't know where Victor Avila went.
Yeah, Victor texted me. He had to jump off. He's been getting so many hits with everything that's going on.
I totally understand. And look, I just wanted to play a clip here that Robbie Starbuck posted of Josh Hawley. This girl breaks it down a little bit and then has Josh Hawley go on. But take a listen.
Seen a huge leftist talking point about this mass deportation. Well, what about the kids? You guys have no empathy. The children, the innocent children at risk, blah, blah, blah. Like Selena Gomez getting online and hysterically crying about her people. First of all, babe, you're an American. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. Second of all, I didn't hear you crying about the kids the last 4 years when your administration lost hundreds of thousands of them to sex and labor traffickers. Let me show you a little something.
Every child gets a Know Your Rights presentation. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Is that before or after you release them to labor traffickers?
Senator, every child that comes into our care gets a Know Your Rights presentation as well as...
Have you read these New York Times reports, these stories, the series of stories the New York Times has done on the children who are in your care? Have you read them?
Yes, I have.
Have you read that children are scrubbing dishes? They are operating heavy machinery. They are delivering meals. They are harvesting coffee. They are working construction. They are working as housekeepers. They are working overnight shifts at plants where they are not paid. They are not going to school. They are not cared for. They are not giving meals. Almost all of it illegally. Are you aware of that? That's a yes or no?
Yes.
Do the Know Your Rights presentation help them in those situations?
Senator ORR.
That's a yes or no, I think. Do you really think that you're helping these children by releasing them to labor traffickers and, yes, sex traffickers? 85,000 children whom you have no contact with, and your answer is we gave them a presentation before we turned them over to these people who are exploiting them on a scale not seen in this country for 100 years.
You don't know who that woman is. She is Miss Marcos, and she, as of September of 2022, is the director of the ORR. The ORR is the Office of Refugee Resettlement. Let me show you another clip.
Concern because you have managed to lose 85,000 of them, and the Times knows where they are, or 2/3 of them, and they're with labor traffickers. It's unbelievable. Let me just ask you this. How many kids right now, of the 430,000 approximately, unaccompanied children cross the border into this administration? It's an astounding number. How many are you in regular contact with right now?
Senator, we have a number of different providers across the country.
But what's the number? What's the number? How many of you are you in? You said child welfare is your top concern. What's the number?
I don't have the specific numbers.
How can you not know? Why would you come to this hearing and not know?
Respectfully, if you would like us to provide comprehensive case management to children, after they're released from our care so we can report.
Respectfully, I would like you to do your job and not release children to human traffickers. Respectfully, that's what I would like.
430,000 children unaccompanied. No one knows where they are. They are not being held responsible by anyone. And they are being sold to labor and sex traffickers. And the ORR knows of this, hence not denying it and saying yes. Ms. Marcos was also asked in this very same hearing if the people in the home that they are being sent to is background checked or if they do home checks to make sure it is a loving, stable environment. She could not answer the question, meaning no, not all of them are. April 17th, 2023, veteran government officials and multiple independent contractors came forward to HHS saying, we think children are at risk over here. I don't think they're being looked out for. I think they're in danger. And HHS and Marcos did nothing. And it doesn't stop there because 5 HHS members came forward and saying, we think there's a child risk safety and you guys aren't looking into it. And they were pushed out of the Biden administration. So I will leave you with a few points to all the Democrats saying that this illegal immigrant roundup is inhumane and racist. And what about the children? What about the innocent kids? You are pro-slavery if you are not pro people getting here safely. What happens to pregnant women and women when they cross our border being assaulted by both people of Mexico or Canada and Americans is inhumane and vile. And now there are thousands of them unaccounted for. So if you are not pro them getting here safely and legally, just because it'll take them a few years, you are pro-slavery and child abuse. If you are not pro a family having legal American rights while they are living here, you are pro-slavery. If you are pro these children, innocent babies, going into the hands of the Biden ORR, then you are pro child abuse. If you are pro parent neglect, when these parents come into this country illegally, knowing the risk that is putting their child in currently and in their future of future deportation or legal hassle, then you are pro child neglect and you have no right to talk about family separation. If you are pro them coming here to do rigorous labor with no government benefits because they didn't come here the legal way, then you are pro-slavery. And to the women like Selena Gomez and other women that are in my comments acting morally superior, wanting to cry and talk about the children and the women and the kids, why didn't you cry for the 430,000 missing kids? Why aren't you crying for the migrant labor children? Why aren't you crying for the pregnant women that are assaulted? Why aren't you crying for the women who are organ harvested at the border? Why aren't you talking about the women getting shot at the border? Why aren't you talking about children working overnights on plants with heavy machinery at 7 years old, not paid and not in school and abused? Why aren't you talking about them? Why aren't you crying about them? I'll tell you why. Because you don't actually care about the children. You care about making Trump look bad. Because if that was the case, right? If the case was actually caring about the children, why aren't you crying for the other children? Why aren't you crying for the victims of illegal immigrant crimes? Murders, rapes, MS-15, MS-18 gang member violence. Why aren't you crying for them or the 430,000 kids via ORR that are getting subjected to abuse? Again, it is because you want to make Trump look bad. If it was truly about the children, you would hold both administrations accountable, but you haven't. You haven't said a word to Biden. Borders are Kamala Harris, this woman Marcos, our HHS. You haven't held any of them accountable. Not one. You won't talk about it. Selena Gomez, you haven't cried about that. Your people. Where were your tears for all of these kids and women getting abused every day? Where is it? Because I don't see it. I don't. Also, big drama acting like you don't have the resources to help people. You want to help your people so bad? Put them in your mansion. Or better yet, why don't you donate your money for legal representation to illegal or legal immigrants so they can acquire a lawyer, make the process speed up, donate to asylum or refugee benefits? You don't do any of that. You sit on your Instagram and cry.
Yeah, she covers all the bases in that video.
Wow.
I mean, she covered all the bases. That's why I really wanted to share that with you guys. I mean, that's the reality. That's what's been taking place. This isn't just, oh, we hate brown folks, we don't want them coming here. This is because it's never been that. For the record, it's never been that. It's been about making sure that people are being safe and not being abused or put into slavery. Because as much as, the left always is like, oh, whites are so terrible. They're flogging themselves for, America's past about slavery. What do you think is happening when people are being brought here in the manner that they are? And then children are disappearing, and the women are being raped and sold into sex slavery, and the children as well, and the drug mules that they're being turned into, and all that stuff. You think any of that's really free will? You think that's safe, that's sane, that's humane? No, this is believe it or not, this mass deportation is a humanitarian effort. Believe it or not.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Leo.
And because we care about people. That's what we're doing. We're here to protect not just American citizens, but we're also here to stop this kind of this kind of behavior. Because if there's no market available for these sex traffickers, these human traffickers, these drug traffickers, then this kind of abuse doesn't take place. This dark depth of humanity doesn't reach the surface because it doesn't occur, because there's no place for that business to occur. So by eliminating that, we're doing a huge humanitarian aid project, bigger than anything that you could do elsewhere.
I couldn't agree with you more. Leo, on a side note, Mary Aguilar Budafuco is listening to us for the very first time. She's a friend of mine, and she was a sister to Tony Soprano. Maybe we need the Sopranos back in America.
Hey, you want to know something? I worked with Jim for like 2 years, Eddie.
What's that?
I worked with Jim Gandolfini for like 2 years.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
What a great guy he is.
Yeah,
he was amazing.
Yeah.
And it was horrible that he was in Italy when that happened, when he had his heart attack.
Yeah. Mary wants to come on our show in the future, and I told her I would get with the powers to be and see how that works out. But Ken, I want to thank you for bringing Avilar on today. He did a great job, and I hope he comes back. Back to you, Leo.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely have him back on. This is his third or fourth time on with us.
Yeah, he's been on my show also.
Exciting news. I don't know if you caught it, but Derek Maltz was appointed to the head of the DEA. So
all right.
We've had Derek on.
Yeah.
Rodney Scott was appointed, Border Patrol.
Right.
Obviously, Tom is the border czar. A friend of mine, Tara Dahl, she's appointed. Lieutenant Colonel Stu Scheller is going to be working under Pete Hegseth. It's been a very busy few weeks. I helped organize that march with Navy SEAL Bill Brown on behalf of Pete Hegseth. Probably it was, I think it was February 14th or January 14th in DC. So we've had a lot of great people on, and now these people are in the administration. It's pretty crazy.
I love it. I think it's great. You know what I can't wait to see?
What's that?
Is Kristi Noem on the TV screens as I'm going through TSA.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the new press secretary, too. I caught the new press secretary. Pretty darn sharp, man. I didn't hear any lies.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear talking to everybody as they go through TSA, because it's better than liar Mayorkas.
Real quick, on a totally separate note, I see Tony is watching. We need to get Chris back on, Chris Garcia. From last I spoke to her, like 2 to 3 weeks ago, they still don't know where Nala is. And if you're still listening, if she's still listening, maybe she can
Nala.
Yeah, we want the Freedom of Information Act for Elko County, White Pine County, and the sheriff up there. It's the head of the DPS that's done this to K9 Nayla. The sheriff needs to step in. Sheriff has ultimate jurisdiction there. K9 Nayla actually nipped a person. There was no blood. I think it was a 10-year-old boy. I've had Chris on my show, so I know all about this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they took Nala. There was no blood. There's no rabies check, nothing like that, no confiscation. So they just picked up Nayla and disappeared with her. We haven't heard anything for, I guess, 2 years now.
Over a year.
They keep putting this trial back. Also, they fired Chris Garcia, excellent DPS agent, over this. Now, where's the dog? That's a family member.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to get him back on.
I
have to reach back out to him.
I have, and his lawyers have said it's in the lawyer's hands, Ken.
Yeah.
No, we got to take our last break here on the first hour of America Matters today. So we're going to jump into that. We'll be right back.
Sliced fresh sandwiches every day, made right before your eyes, the port of Stubbs way. It'd be a smoking number 5 or a classic number 8, or maybe an Italian is a number 1 fave. Whatever you crave, prepare to fall in love. Sliced fresh sandwiches, port of subs.
The grilled chicken melt at Port of Subs will warm up your winter with savory grilled chicken and your favorite melty cheese on fresh baked peppercini pepper jack bread, topped with all your favorite veggie toppings and sauces. Bundle up with savory Cool Ranch Doritos, a refreshing Sprite, and a classic chocolate chip cookie for a hearty meal that'll leave you feeling oh so satisfied. Available for a limited time at your neighborhood Port of Subs, or order at portofsubs.com or on our mobile app. Port of Subs, we're slicing up the quality you crave.
Whatever yummy number you're dreaming of, sliced fresh sandwiches, port of subs.
The Delta and Bonanza saloons in Virginia City are simply elegant. Imagine ascending the grand staircase and being surrounded by the Victorian elegance and grandeur of the historic banquet rooms. Original crystal chandeliers, mahogany bars, and oak dance floors highlight the eloquently appointed spaces. A truly romantic and unique setting for your wedding, banquets, or holiday parties. Detailed ceremony and menu planning ensures your special event is a memorable occasion. With just one call to Jesse at 775-847-0789, all of your arrangements will be handled by their experienced staff, with your every expectation in mind, including cakes, flowers, photography, videography, music, and party amenities. Complete ceremony and reception packages are available, as well as their famous themed weddings. Since 1865, the Delta and Bonanza Saloon's guests have come from every state in the union. Now it's your turn. No event is too large or too small. Let the Delta and Bonanza Saloons plan your next incredible event. Call Jesse at 775-847-0789.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
All right, folks, we're back with America Matters. I'm Leo Zaki with Eddie Floyd, Shannon Lawson, and joining us today is our very good friend Ken Nuss. And we had Victor Avila on earlier with us for the first half of the first hour today. Great guy. Wealth of information. We're talking about the deportations that are taking place, and I got a clip here from Fleckus. We love the Fleckus stuff, and it kind of covers what I mentioned a little bit earlier about, you know, folks are just kind of getting the message and taking off on their own. So I wanted to share that clip with y'all and show you what it kind of looks like.
When you do deportations like this and you start cracking down, there are people that naturally self-deport. Some guy who's living in Missouri and he's got a DUI from 3 years ago and he knows they're going after criminals first is going to be like, well, do I want to go back to Mexico with my pickup truck and my apartment full of stuff? Or do I want to wait until Tom Homan stuffs me on a plane? You go back to Mexico with all the things you collected. You got bikes, you got some furniture, a grill. You made out. Yeah. Do you want to have to buy all your clothes again in Mexico after Tom Homan handcuffs you and puts you on the plane? No. Time to head back with your winnings, whatever you collect. Whatever coins you gained from the system. Family members, people who are like, oh, we'll just go start over, or like dad can't find work. Those kind of like pressures, those external pressures that just get someone to kind of go back to where they grew up. And that's the thing. We're not sending people to Siberia. We're sending them to where they spent their entire life up until like 6 months ago. When you do
Great.
Yeah, that's great. We're sending them home, not to Siberia.
Yeah.
And we're still picking up the dime for it. I mean, every time I fly, I got to pay.
And you think those trucks are going to be repossessed in Mexico once they cross the border? All that new trucks and all that new vehicles and everything they're taking across? That's a loss.
They'll be owned by the cartels, Shannon.
Yeah, cartels. Yeah, you're right, Eddie. Forgot about them.
Hey, I think it's, this is what happens when you got, a strong bit of enforcement going on. This is good. I think this is necessary. I'm glad that there are folks that are making that. They're smart enough to make that realization. I better take my loot and go. It makes it easier on us, and it doesn't cost us anything at that point when they they take their crap and head on home. Good, go on,
Yes.
Leo,
I consider Victor Avila a hero. He was involved in a shootout at the border where his partner was killed. Right. That is one upstanding gentleman. I love him.
Yeah, I got to spend time in D.C. with Victor. We went to one of the inaugural balls, him and his wife. It's really a great time there. Got to see a lot of amazing patriots. got to do an auction with Sheriff Lamb. He was the MC.
Oh yeah, right.
And I got to do the auction items. It was pretty fun. Met Governor Abbott. Had a little chat with him. It was an amazing. I didn't see you there, Leo. Did you go?
Well, yeah, I was at a lot of different balls. I was there in DC. I got there the 17th. Yeah. And then I took off Tuesday.
Yeah, I got there Saturday and I left Monday morning to fly to Vegas for a SHOT Show.
Yeah, I wish I knew you were going to that. I was trying to go and I couldn't get a hold of anybody that could help me get a pass. I was really bummed about that.
Yeah, I could have got.
I should have thought to call you. I was dumb on my part.
I went with Car Arms.
Oh, that's a good play right there. Damn, I really would have been going to SHOT Show.
I tried calling you actually.
I didn't have a missed call from Ken Nuss. Don't make me go back and check my call log, dude.
You better start looking. I'm going to have to cut out, guys. I have a Zoom at 3:00. I have to get ready for. Do you guys have any time tomorrow?
Call me the 18th.
What was that?
You did call me on the 18th.
See that? When I was in DC.
We got 6 minutes, Ken. We got 6 minutes.
So
all right. Yeah, I have to get ready for the Zoom. Do you guys have time tomorrow for that DA if he's available?
Yeah, dude, totally.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. 11
right.
o'clock.
Yeah, I want to hear from him how I can go and get $1,000
I'm going to text him now.
Yeah, let's do it, Leo.
11. All right, guys.
All right.
I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks for joining us today, Ken.
Later.
Really appreciate it as always.
See you later.
He's the man. I like that little title, Networking Patriot. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He really is. But yeah, I think having that DA on will be really cool because I want to know about how I get $1,000 a scalp.
That's right.
We'll start a gang, Leo. I love it.
A posse.
The posse.
The posse.
Yeah. I think I know someone where we can get a couple guys I know I can get some horses from.
Yes, absolutely, positively, yes.
Amen.
Hey, just teach me how to lasso, so we'll be all right.
And some guns and some slingshots and
No,
crossbows
we just
and
need
everything we need, Leo.
No, we're not here to kill them. We just need to, capture them alive. I don't think they're worth anything dead, and I don't want to be a murderer like that.
No, that's right. It ain't dead or alive. Yeah.
I need to learn how to do a little bit of roping, and maybe some tranks or something like that. We're gonna need a ton of zip ties.
Bolos.
Yeah. Hey, let's do it. Sounds great. So, but hey, things are going pretty good here in America right now. We're cleaning up the criminals. But Victor mentioned earlier about this is the prisons that are pushing back against this because it's all about money.
Yeah,
we have a big private prison system here in the United States, and they make money on each prisoner that they house. So if they're going to have a large chunk of their inmate population be removed, that's them losing out on money. It's amazing how petty these people in these private prisons are being, because I'm telling you, these jails will get filled right back up with regular old criminals if there's room for them. Because right now, I can tell you right now, here in California, we got a problem with catch and release and this revolving door, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that our prisons are overcrowded. So if you cleared out all the illegals, guess what? You're gonna have more room for real criminals.
Right.
Yep.
These people are willing, and these people are willing to sell out our country over a couple bucks. You know how much some of these prisons make per inmate a day? $95.
Wow. Per inmate.
Per day. So,
wow.
You're talking about almost 30 grand, or not 30 grand, 3 grand, $3,000 a month. Yeah. 30 grand a year.
Yeah.
That's 30. So each one of them is worth $30K to these prisons.
And they're not productive. They need to be on the chain gang.
Yeah, right. But think about that too. Think about that. $30,000 a year to house one piece of crap. That's more than some people make in a year working a real job.
Yep.
So for 10 of them, 100 grand.
300 grand. Or so just saying, that's a lot of money.
Huge.
But that's all. It's amazing. That's what it always boils down to: is dollars and cents. And where am I going to get my money from? I want my money. Nobody cares about doing the right thing. It's all about money. The money motivation is really, really despicable. How about just do the right thing? Be a human being. Be a positive input on society. Why does everything have to devolve into money? Well, a lot of it has to do with the way that the banking system has been in charge for 112 years here in this country, and how they've been devaluing our currency. They killed Kennedy because he tried to break away from that and started having the U.S. issue currency again.
That's right.
You know what other president issued currency and then got killed for it? Abraham Lincoln.
Yep. The Mossad was there at the Kennedy assassination.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. The banksters, they're all the ones. It's all about the money. It's all about the money, and they don't care about the people. It's all about their pound of flesh and their power. It's really disgusting. And the more you wake up to this fact, the more you realize that the people in charge are not really the ones that are presented to us as being in charge aren't really the ones in charge. It's the ones who control the money. That's the biggest issue, is the ones who control the money, like the heads of the Fed and the people behind that, the Rothschilds, privately owned banks. And the United States has gone through privately owned central banks. Like there was a first U.S. bank that was chartered in the late 1700s, and it had a 20-year charter, and then it expired, and then Congress didn't renew it in 1811. So 1791, I think it was when that happened. They had a 20-year charter. It expired. Congress didn't renew it. And then the Rothschilds threatened the United States, and that's how the War of 1812 kind of got kicked off.
1812. That's right.
Right.
Right. Yep.
And then the new charter took place, and it got for the second U.S. bank, and that was implemented in 1816. And then Andrew Jackson was president, and he fought against it, and he blocked it there in 1836. They tried to kill him, and he said that he knew the assassins were sent by the Rothschilds. And we had a nice period without a central bank for a while. And then when did it come back again? Well, I know that. Well, with the Civil War, Lincoln had to take money from the Rothschilds controlled banks to help fund the war. Yeah, but they were gouging him with usury. I mean, the loans that they were giving were at 24 to 36%, like unreasonable numbers, which caused a lot of debt. So there's a lot more to this story, folks, in America.
Well, and that's when J.P. Morgan got involved too.
So there's a long history of banksters trying to control this country, and right now, I'm really hoping that Trump is going to be the one to throw off those chains of oppression upon we the people. And I think it's going to be a hell of a good start getting rid of that federal income tax and the IRS. So
yes.
And look, we got 4 years left. So we're gonna finish up here the first show. We got another one coming up.